Whether you like it or not, the G5 governors played a very critical role in ensuring the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president-elect and the 16th president of Nigeria. I recall that for the very first time in the political history of Nigeria, PDP lost Rivers State in the 24 years history of this Fourth Republic. PDP lost to APC in Rivers and also in Oyo State. Of course, it's not the first time that APC has won in Oyo, but when you look at what happened on February 25th vis-a-vis what happened on March 18, you will see that, but for the support, tacit support that Governor Seyi Makinde gave to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, perhaps he will not have won in Oyo State. Recall that even in that same election, APC lost in Osun State, and APC has a PDP governor. Likewise, Oyo has PDP governor. But it's the alliance, behind the scene alliance of the G5 governors to support, to throw their weight behind Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that played out. Recall that it's only Governor Samuel Ortom that came out publicly to say he's not supporting president-elect for the presidential election, that he's throwing his weight behind the Labour Party candidate, that's Peter Obi. And that's, in spite of that, APC still won marginally in Benue. So it's time for consultation. Recall that the constitutional alteration that took place recently has said that the president-elect and governors-elect have to form their cabinet within 60 days of their inauguration. So you may have this consultation well ahead of the inauguration to see who gets what, when, and how. Because these are not just mere consultation, they are also consultations that may have to do with sharing of portfolios and compensations for job well done or job that didn't go well done. But more or less, it shows that as in politics, you eat where you sow. The G5 governor, at least 4 of them that we know, through their support behind the president-elect, governor of Rivers, and particularly governor of Rivers and governor of Oyo State, also have that bragging right to say, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we worked for you. While someone like Governor Seyi Makinde has won his re-election, he may also, it doesn't mean that he could not nominate somebody to represent his interest in the cabinet of Asiwaju if he's asked to do so. And for someone like Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, he didn't contest for Senate and is serving out his second and final term, who knows? He may actually become a minister under the government of national competence that President-elect Jagaba and Bola Ahmed Tinubu have talked about.
Well, Mr. Ojo, there have been lots of speculations about what you just talked about as well, even up to the point of the membership of these governors within the PDP and all of that. But I imagine the big picture for a lot of Nigerians is, what does this mean for governance in Nigeria? What does it mean for governance delivery in Nigeria? And it takes me to my next point, the role of opposition in democracy. I mean, it is said that opposition is there to keep the main or the leading party on its toes, you know, to raise policy alternatives, just essentially keep the conversation going on so we'll have a vibrant governance. So what does this do to that role of opposition if you have 2 prominent members of the opposition party fraternizing with a major party?
Well, I mean, it's an open secret. At this point, the gloves are off. The party, that's PDP, had accused this G5 governor of anti-party, and they make no means about it. They have been very open that, yes, we are not supporting our presidential candidate. Rather, we are throwing our weight behind the opposition candidate. And mark you, Kyle, the elections are over, governance beckons. And because governance beckons, like I said, these 2 governors that have paid homage of sorts to president-elects were able to deliver their states to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And when you talk about inclusive governance, it should not be, only people in APC should benefit from getting appointments into governance or government positions. I have granted an interview where I said, even for those outside of the country, people in diaspora, technocrats working across the globe, in as far as they are Nigerians, they should be welcome to also come and contribute their quota into governance, irrespective of whether they are partisan or non-partisan. Right. And this is the time for all hands to be on deck. So I see nothing wrong. By the way, politics in Nigeria is, our political party in Nigeria, the way we have made it is like a special purpose vehicle that is just meant to take us to political offices, after which they go comatose, they become dormant, they become passive. So the time, there won't be another presidential election, maybe until 2027. That's if the court endorses the election of Jagaban. And so in the next 4 years, there have to be governance. And in the course of that period, I believe that whether you belong to opposition or you belong to the ruling party, or you are even non-partisan like myself, you have something you can contribute to the good governance of Nigeria. After all, President Olusegun Obasanjo brought someone like Dr. Obiese Kwesili and Dr. Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala from diaspora to come and contribute their quota in Nigeria.
Well,
even the guy that designed the electric vehicle for the foreign company was brought to Nigeria to come and lead the automotive industry in Nigeria.
Right. I understand that point, but as we wind down on this very interesting thing playing out here, the question is then, do these governors, will they have that boldness then to ask the right questions of the major party? Will they have that moral right to say, well, we'll still play the role of an opposition, even if, I mean, we're fraternizing with you? Do you think that they can be able to do that? Because that's the essence of, having opposition in democracy, which is a point I'm trying to make. Do you think they'll still be able to hold the ruling party to account?
Yeah, of course, they should be able to hold the ruling party to account. Don't forget, they are not holding they are not holding executive offices within the party structure. Right now, the ball is in the court of the National Working Committee, National Executive Committee, Board of Trustees, and the State Working Committee, the Local Government Working Committee, and the local and Ward Executive of Political Party. These are the party structures, and they are now, the ball is in their court effectively to hold the ruling party to account. These are individual. Governor Nyesom Wike, outgoing Governor Nyesom Wike, and the re-elected Governor Seyi Makinde, they are just political appointee or elected political office holders. Right. And they cease to be, for somebody like Governor Nyesom Wike now, he ceases to be a governor on May 29. So he becomes an ordinary party member.
You know, Mr. Ojo, pardon me to butt in here. I know I have to let you go now.
Elected into.
Right, pardon me to butt in. So do they still have a moral right then to remain in the PDP? Do you think the party would make a move after this and say, well, you see what you're doing, you can't stay in the PDP and still be fraternizing with the APC?
Yeah, it's within the right of the party to so do. I recall that for Governor Nyesom Wike, he had actually gone to court to get an order that he should not be expelled or suspended from PDP. I don't know for what reason he wanted to do that, because obviously he's not enjoying a very good time with the leadership of PDP. And he was very instrumental, somewhat, I won't say allegedly instrumental in the removal of Dr. Jide Ojo who is currently being suspended from that office pending the determination of the suit that was filed against him in Benue State. But you know these governors work hand in hand. And he has come out to say, look, Ayu is a gunner. Whether you like it or not, you are going. And now there is an acting chairman in PDP. But it's within the party hierarchy, it's within the prerogative of the party leadership to discipline any area member. And we have seen this happen across party lines. In fact, in the course of preparing for 2023 election, there was a political party that even suspended or expelled their presidential candidate. And in the course of that time, the party chairman himself was suspended. So we see all of this happening. But the most important thing is, yes, we talk about party supremacy. But the point I want Nigerians to know is that Governor Nyesom Wike ceases to be a very active member or somewhat the profile, his profile as a party member will drop after May 29 because he will not be a governor of the party. He will just become an ex-governor. And of course, we saw that former governor Ayodele Fayose was suspended. I think Ayim Payosayim, but the party under the current interim management have overturned their suspension and welcomed them back. But all this anti-party, it does happen, particularly in the lead-up to electioneering campaign. But the time now is for governance, and that is the primary focus. And
that's the most important point there.
Human capital development anywhere. You can get human resources anywhere within and outside of the country, within the political party structures and outside of it.